Hello everyone. Since last three parts we are discussing qualitative analysis in the practicals of the semester 1, and we have discussed primary test, dry test of positive and dry test of negative. That portion is new for you. You are not used to perform it in the 12th standard. So in this fourth part, now whatever we will discuss, first we will discuss the preparation of the solution. That is again the new, because you are given ready-made solution in the 12th standard. So again, solution preparation is a new part. And today, in a second part, we will discuss wet test. That is actually the repetition of the 12th. So, friends, in primary test, we are checking solubility in water. Suppose if your compound is water soluble, then you should prepare your original solution into the distilled water. So it is a very simple. In a test tube, take compound, add distilled water, shake it very well. Since your compound is water soluble, so it will dissolve. Solution will be clear, and slightly heat it. So because of the heating, it will be condensed and concentrated, and use it as the original solution. Only thing you should take care is your original solution shouldn't be very diluted. It means that you should take the considerable size of the compound and proportionately require amount of the water. But if you take the more water than the required, then obviously your OS will be diluted. In that case, you may not get the proper taste. But if your compound is found water insoluble in the primary taste, so obviously you cannot prepare it in water. In that case, OS should be prepared in a dilute HCl. In a test tube, take your compound, add dilute HCl, dissolve it, slightly heat it if required, and then add slight amount of distilled water. So, if we summarize the whole discussion, compound is water soluble, prepare OS in distilled water. Compound is water insoluble, prepare OS in dilute HCl. Now, if your negative radical is a sulfide, then slightly different method is used. That method is called heat to dryness. Here in the OS we have to remove the negative radical sulfide. So what we are doing, in a test tube we are taking compound, and we are adding concentrated HCl. So S minus 2 negative ion is actually gradually when we heat it, so it is removed in the form of H2S gas. Heat the test tube till everything is dry in the test tube. Now again add HCl in the test tube. Again heat it, right? So again remove the sulfide. So we are actually repeating the process twice. And now keep the lead acetate paper over the mouth of the test tube. It shouldn't be silvery shiny this time. So that is indicating absence of sulfide ion. We have discussed this thing in the dry test of negative in the case of sulfide. Now add distilled water, slight HCl, and use it as a original solution. One more very important thing you should remember, friends, is since we have discussed that compound is water insoluble, so we are preparing in OS in HCl. So what happen? Whatever your positive ion is present, but as you are adding HCl, so you are getting it is converted into its respective chloride. For example, as I have shown here, suppose your powder is CaCO3. It is insoluble. You are preparing in the HCl. So you are adding HCl. So now your positive is converted into CaCl2 in your OS. One more example. Suppose your powder is magnesium phosphate, but you are preparing it in HCl. So radical was phosphate, but now in OS you are getting MgCl2. So you should remember that in such case you shouldn't perform wet test of the negative, because if you perform the wet test, then whichever negative radical you detected in the dry test, but in the wet test you will get the taste of the chloride. So we never perform negative test, wet test of the negative when your compound is water insoluble. This is a very important point, and that's why I have marked it with the red color. And now this OS is prepared, so you should use it for the wet test. So friends, now you prepared the OS, rest of the part is actually repetition. If you remember, you were given original solution directly into the 12th standard. Here you prepared it. So far, whatever we discussed was a new for you. And now, whatever we will discuss further, that will be actually uh, repetition. So this is the sequence of the weight test. First, we have to identify the group of positive. Whichever group is found, then we perform the separation of that group. Third is, from the separation, whenever we find positive ion, we perform its confirmative test. Fourth, we write equations of that ion. Fifth, detection of negative. Sixth, confirmative test of negative. But again, the same thing. If water soluble, then we won't perform from this portion. Negative, you won't perform. No equation in the case of water insoluble, and finally reporting of the result. So this is the sequence which we will follow. Quickly let us discuss it. First, detection of positive. So first you will take OS, you will add dilute HCl. I hope you remember these reagents. So groups are first, second, third A, third B, fourth, fifth, and fifth B. These are the ions in each group. So you add a dilute HCl in OS, and if you are getting precipitates, then first group is present. Then you should go for the separation of the first group. And silver, mercury, and lead, these are the ions present in the first group. But friends, mostly there are very less chances of silver and mercury in the college level. So in first group only, mainly you have to go for the lead. Okay. OS, dilute HCl and H2S water. If first group is absent, then you will go here and you will get the precipitates. Then second group is present. These are the ions. These reagents are for the third A group. These are the aluminum, ferrous, ferric, chromium are present. If it is absent, go for the fourth group. If it is absent, go for the fifth group, fifth A group. Only member in fifth A group is the magnesium. And if all these groups are absent, then 5B group is present, sodium, potassium, ammonium. And always remember that all these salts of all these three are always water soluble. So, two things you should remember. The questions are asked to you in Viva. For each group, first, second, 3A, 3B, fourth, 5, 5B, you should remember these reagents and at least two examples of ions of each group, at least. Now, once you get the group, suppose, let us take the example, you get the 3A group. Then, second part, later on, in the group, separation of 3A group is given. So you should perform the separation. This is the test. Take the OS, add NH4Cl, add NH4OH excess. If you get the white gelatinous precipitate, then aluminum is present. Reddish brown, then ferric is present. Green precipitates indicate ferrous and chromium. Then you have to go the further separation and you have to identify the positive ion. Once the positive ion is identified, then you should go for the confirmative test which is given underneath. See, if aluminum is present, then perform these tests. Ferrous, ferric, this is ferrous, and chromium, then perform these tests. Now, whichever test you perform, then its equations you have to write. Suppose in the case of ferric, KCNS, K4 FeCN6, K3 FeCN6, NaOH. So see, These are the equations. Ferrous, Fe6, NaOH, K4 Fe6. So these are the same equations of the test. So that's all about positive ion. Now we will go for the negative. Again, let me remind you, if your compound is water insoluble, so you will not perform this. Okay, this is chart, read it. OS plus AgNO3. White precipitates, if you get, then carbonate and chloride, then you have to perform the separation here. Yellow precipitates, then maybe I minus Br minus phosphate. So in that case you have to perform further separation and identify the negative ion. Chocolate precipitate indicating chromate or dichromate, and no precipitates, then sulfate and nitrate. Then you have to further separate them and identify the negative ion. And one more thing, you must have detected negative ion from the dry test also. So suppose whichever negative radical you identify, then you have to perform their confirmative test. These are the test of carbonate, these are the test of chloride, phosphate, and suppose chloride, then in the equations the same equation with the same reagents will be given. See here the test of AgNO3, lead acetate, MnO2 sulfuric. So chloride, CAgNO3 AgIon, MnO2 sulfuric, lead acetate. So always remember that we are writing the same equations of the test, and finally you will write the result. So friends, uh, this uh, wet test you have performed in 12th standard, so you are little bit familiar with it. That's why we quickly brush up it. Now in the last part 5, actually we discuss everything, the whole uh, format of the qualitative analysis for your semester number 1. Now in last part 5, I will share with you, and we will discuss a complete qualitative analysis of one demonstration we will discuss. So collectively, because so far we have discussed all the tests in a different parts, so we will quickly discuss one substance so that you will get the complete idea. Let me acknowledge the Nero publication, because your for your practicals we are using the practical book of published by Nero publication. So I have used slides from the Nero publication. That's why I must acknowledge them. So I hope that you understand this. In fourth part, the preparation of solution which is new for you, but wet tests you are familiar